What's up, guys? Welcome back. It's Tina Regano from The Sophisticated Man, helping guys like you become the most confident, fulfilled, and attractive versions of yourselves. Today's a very special video. I got a nice, interesting guest for the first time, David Hammond. You may know him, you may not know him. He's a YouTube channel called Self Developed. So I'll let him kind of explain, David, who you are and what you got going on and why you're doing it.
Yeah, awesome, guys. So my name is David Hammond. I keep looking down over here, post the webcam. You guys are just gonna have to get used to that. What is up? My name is David. I run a YouTube channel called Self Developed, I should say. And all right, guys. And yeah, let's get it going. I'm here with the man Tino. Tino and I actually know each other. He was a former client, and that is how we have this connection. You know, a very solid guy. We both run similar YouTube channels, helping men in the manosphere, I guess you could say. So we're definitely going to delve into some topics. I'm excited for Tino to, just shoot the shit, ask me some stuff. Hopefully, we can help you guys and just all grow, right? I don't care how old you are, ethnicity, et cetera, et cetera. We are all men. We're moving together. So yeah, let's get it going. There we go.
Mhm. Love it, man. Love it. And that's a point I want to make too. It's like this stuff is going to apply to you no matter if you're 18 or 80 years old. It's just all things that we've, experienced or just general principles of masculinity. So this
Absolutely.
this is definitely going to apply to your life and help you out in a big way. So basically what I think we're going to do here is more or less an interview style. I have some questions for David. We're just going to talk about more or less the state of masculinity, where we are today as men. What does the modern man look like? Why is he this way? What are his struggles? And where can we go from here, essentially? So I have some questions for David. I'm going to pull them up on my phone here. Took a couple notes. So I'll just kind of, we can kick this off at wherever and we'll just kind of roll
Sure.
with it,
Sure,
see,
man.
see where it goes. But I have a question here about the state of modern men. First of all, how do you think we got here as a big overarching question?
Yeah, great, dude. I'm so excited to speak about this stuff. I literally went live on my Instagram yesterday, and it's funny, we're having this interview today. I've taken the past, I don't know, 3 to 6 months, really just, you know, uh, for just this question to really think and digest exactly what this means. When I first started YouTube, and I know I'm kind of going on a side tangent, this didn't really, like, if you asked me this question, I would probably give you a generic answer because I didn't really understand the anatomy of what creates a man in the first place. So I couldn't give you an answer. If you said, where are men, I would be like, I don't know. We're just fucking men. Like, I guess we're lazy. And I feel that's what most YouTubers kind of give you, just these generic answers. But when you really begin to digest and understand the history of manhood, I'm talking about the physiology, the biology. When you really go deep, it makes so much sense, and it's so really just crystal clear in front of you, and things begin to line up. So I feel the past few months, that's really what I've not even consciously, but I've had to understand. So yeah, I'm stoked to speak about this. The question was, sorry, I went on a little rant. Where are men at today?
Yeah, essentially, like where do you think the modern man is in today's world? Like where do you think he is in a evolution standpoint, I should say, maybe?
Abso-fucking-lutely, man. It's okay if I swear a little bit, right?
Nah, go for it. Go for it.
Okay, because I swear on my channel. Anyways, guys, with that, so I'm going to first start off with the diagram, which I'm sure you've all heard of. It goes hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create hard times. I feel this is such a popular diagram at this exact moment in time,
Yeah.
especially with everything going on in the world. Here I'm in Canada. I'm not going to get too political, but like, you can see right in front of your eyes the exact correlation between weak men creating hard times, right? It's ridiculous. So the current state of where we're at is through that exact depiction. We could say, let's actually backtrack a little bit, right? This is why I love the history of men. If you were to decode, right, anywhere, let me just, oh yeah, that's too bright. If you were to decode the entire history of man, we're talking thousands of years ago to now, there were always tribes, there was always hierarchy, there was always rites of passage, there were these very clear-cut distinctions between order and leadership, I guess we could say, right? That's what created the societies we have around us. You guys need to keep this in mind, that societies, and looking at buildings, condos, skyscrapers, that was not created by chance. That was not created because one day, I don't know, we decided to get along and just, shit happened. No, there were very clear-cut boundaries. There was, I'm doing this, you're doing this. There was hierarchy, there was lineage, there was, what's the word, dissemination, right? And that is what allowed us to live in these amazing times where we have technology. We can do interviews. I have my camera here, dude, fucking tea, whatever the fuck it is. But the problem with that, right now that we've had easy times, or what is, yes, easy times, it's now creating, what's the word? Weak men. That's exactly where we're at, right?
Mm.
And we're able to see this very clearly because throughout, you can, statistically, it's right in front of your eyes. The past really started in the 1960s and 70s, but I would say it really hit home the past 10 to 15 years. Without getting too political, the rise of just effeminate men. I mean, this is so clear cut. And for anyone that disagrees or thinks, oh, David, that's very triggering and that's wrong, that's not right. Well, let me just tell you this, okay? In Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is a man that, oh yeah, sorry, that's why we're closing. In Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which search this up, right? It's a pyramid, right? What this depicts is that within every man, within every human being, there is a hierarchy of needs, right? So your first hierarchy of needs start off with food and fucking shelter, right? You just living as an individual. And at the very fucking top, this is the ideas. This comes down to philosophies, religions, our ability to think, right? Because all of these hierarchy of needs have been checked off, aka we live in very easy times. We all have roofs overhead. We all have food. We all have fucking social media. We all have the shit. We are now in a position where we overfixate on the very top, which is where all these political ideas come into place. As far as, again, I'm not going to go too deep, but transgenderism, things like, you can go deep, the divorce rate, promiscuity, all of these confusions are now coming into place simply because we're in an area where all those, for the first time in all history, this is very important. The first time in all history, all those Maslow's hierarchy of needs being shelter, food, security, all of them are checked off. Throughout all history in the past, that was not the case. Your father, I would argue, my grandparents went to fucking war. My grandparents, my Japanese ones, were in fucking concentration camps. That was not fucking checked off.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? We are the first generation where everything is checked off. So we can now fall into degeneracy. We can create unicorns in our fucking head because we have everything secure. What happens when shit hits the fan and this is not secure? All that shit goes out the window. I saw a video Elliot Hulse was so funny. And I'll finish here. I'll let you speak. But what did he say? He was saying like transgenderism and all these things like this, all these. And again, I'm not knocking just on that one thing, but a lot of these made up ideas are only happening because of this, right? He says when shit hits the fan and we go to war, I guarantee you all these ideas go out the window. No such thing. Promise you. And what he said, he's like, when we're in war, he's like, where'd all the transgenders go? Where did all this go? I saw a thing yesterday. I feel like, where was it? Do I have it? Ah, damn. What did it say? It was a woman. And she was like, again, feminism, all these ideas, all these fucking man-made ideas that are not rooted in biology. Third wave feminism, again, which we can go into. I'm going deep into this talk. What did he say?
Oh yeah.
It was a woman, and she was like, I'm all for women's rights, but the second World War III happens, I belong back in the kitchen because all these ideas in your head that you're fucking creating are only happening because you are safe and secure. And I say this to myself. This is why, as men, rites of passage, or really what we need to do is we need to create more essentially challenge in our life. Challenge is what brings out strong men. Challenge is what brings out pure order, hierarchy, biology, nature. Do you understand? Really, it's nature that it brings back out. And when shit's too comfortable, which it is now, we can create whatever fucking cancerous paradigm in our mind, both good and bad, but it's just what happens. Search the shit up. It's what happens when we're too comfortable. So I digress. I kind of just like shot it, and so I'll chill out.
I love it though. I mean, there is a lot of things in there on what you just said, and I wanted to hone in on, I think, what the key point was. And it's something that I try to preach a lot on this channel, guys. If you've been following me, you've been keeping up on my videos, I talk about this a lot. But convenience, comfortability, and just the fact that we're in a state of easiness is essentially what David is saying, is because that's what creates that weakness, or that malaise, if you want to call it, that laziness that men have, because we could pretty much have everything at our fingertips, and it's just so easy for us that we don't have to try. We don't have to, we don't have to dig deep in ourselves to do something. So I really wanted to dive off of that olive branch, if you want to call it, and talk about the challenge, talk about how men can start to do that in their day-to-day. What are some easy ways that you think men can start to incorporate more challenge in their life? And even if it isn't, slaying demons and shit like that, what are just some, like, tangible things that men can do?
Yeah, what a great question, man, because I mean that's really what it comes down to. We've explained this entire podcast within the first 5 minutes. That is the cycle,
Literally.
right? Like we understand because that's what men do. Men get straight to the point, man. Like there's none of this bullshit hokey pokey, anyways. With that said, so there's two paradigms I'm gonna offer you, okay? And this is why was a deep one and there's a superficial one. Number one, all right, this is kind of the philosophical one, which I'm just gonna jump into. I do believe that God gives certain men dharmic paths and challenges to awaken themselves, right? Because that's how you grow. It's through challenge, struggle, austerity. God gives that upon birth to certain men to then wake up the other men. Do you understand? So, number one, I would say look around you in your life, right? God will, and I'm sure He is for especially people who gravitate towards our channels.
Mm-hmm.
God has said early on, like, buddy, I'm going to give you a pretty fucking rough life, or I'm going to give you certain challenges at XYZ points in your life so you can grow, right? So you don't have to do anything. If that's you, you fall into the first category. You don't have to do shit. Just fucking make it happen, right? And I'll give you some tangible examples with this. Your father dies. You get kicked out of your house. What else? You go dead broke. Your girlfriend fucking leaves you. I mean, there's so many examples that can happen to you. Get into a car accident, right? Like all of these things, life can just say, yo, you got to grow the fuck up now. And then two,
Mm-hmm.
let's say you're in a very comfortable situation where God is not doing that to you. He's like, yo, David, I'm not getting any challenge in my life because I have many friends or people in my immediate area that I see this and I get disgusted by it. Then it is up to you as a man to create this challenge. And I would argue that this is the harder one. So I actually want you to go to the first one and pray and say, God, I need you to grow me, please, and watch your life it'll happen. That's the most organic way I can say. But if that's not happening, then create challenge. And to do this,
Mm-hmm.
I actually want you to create challenges in your life, right? So this is why things like NoFap are so popular, or intermittent fasting, or working out, going to the gym 6 days a week, or taking cold showers. Because if you break it down, all it is creating austerity into your life. It's creating some form of challenge into your life, which then leads the prior of what I'm saying. That's what induces some form of growth. So create
Mm-hmm.
challenge, go in no fat for 30 days, take cold showers for 30 days, whatever it may be for you, and watch yourself transform and adapt. So
Mm. I love that. And I agree. I think just slowly incorporating small things into your daily life, like taking cold showers, being on NoFap, semen retention, quitting porn, like things that you find are pleasurable in your life or things that you find are just easy and just super convenient. Like if you think it's uncomfortable to go outside and go for a 30-minute walk down your neighborhood because you've never been there, I would start there. I mean, something simple like that
yeah.
is going to have a massive impact. And I know for me, I had like this crazy epiphany the other day, and I was just like thinking about my life. And one of the ways that I started to incorporate challenge was entrepreneurship. I mean, starting this YouTube channel,
Fact.
starting my brand, like all this different shit, because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have
Yeah.
the skill set or the perfect moment to make it happen, but I just decided to go forward. And what's funny is a lot of people that I know in this industry, and I'm not going to speak for David, but I'm going to speak for myself. A lot of people, they maybe have as soon as they get their life in order, maybe they have a corporate job for a while, or maybe they've had years in sales experience or in a company for a long time. I went straight from college. Like I graduated college, got into coaching, started making YouTube videos. Like I had no really foundation of I had this skill set established. I've had to create all this shit in the last 4 years. And I think that was my path. That was my challenge. It's like the universe, God
Hmm.
basically was telling me, hey, this is what you wanted. I'm gonna make all that shit happen to you by going through this journey. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Great. Actually,
crazy.
you know what, man, to touch on to what you're saying, this kind of sparked an idea. So I actually, back to what I was saying before, number one, that is the way to growth. God sends challenge into your life. But here's where some people lie into category number two. They've denied the call. So we can speak
Yeah.
of even Joseph Campbell, a hero's call to adventure, which is such a huge topic in manhood. Every single man, I'm just going to speak about it briefly, goes or receives a call to adventure, right? And I want you to search this up to anyone who's watching. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs, search that up. And then two, the hero's call to adventure, it is a diagram. It's a circle where essentially it's to every man. He starts off as a boy or a child, and then he comes back as a man, right? And we will enter this many times in our life. Myself, it doesn't matter. Every single one of you guys gets a call to adventure. So for Tino, that was maybe after college, I want you to try YouTube or try this entrepreneurship thing, right? It's not a clear cut path, but it's a
Mhm.
call, it's a yearning, I think I could make this happen. Maybe for you, it's moving out of your mother's house. Maybe it is starting XYZ business or starting the gym. You receive these calls. Now, if men are in tune with themselves, which is why I believe every man needs to be spiritual, minimum spiritual. And when you get good at that, you can bring on religion if you want, but you got to be in tune with yourself, with God, with the universe, which I know makes a lot of people uncomfortable. But those same people are, generally speaking, degenerates. Like, it's that simple. You've denied the call to adventure. When you
Mhm.
accept the call to adventure and you're in tune with yourself, you are by default spiritual. All men are spiritual. People get so woo woo, and they feel that
Yes.
I'm speaking out of my ass. Then you're just ignorant. You're not in touch with yourself. Religion was literally built by men for men. Why? Because
Mhm.
all men have the proclivity to be spiritual, which is to connect with our creator. Every man wants that. Every man wants to be with his quote unquote metaphorical father.
Mm.
Women, not so much. So it really boggles my mind when men say they're atheists. And it's like, that's bullshit. This is another important topic, too. All men have gods. Your God just may be porn. Your God may be your phone.
Mm.
Your God may be the government. Every man has a God. I'm choosing to make my God something different. Don't tell me you're atheist. That's bullshit. You're either
Mm.
ignorant or you're just your God's something else. So that's a different topic,
Mhm.
though.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on that real quick because I know that when we talk about God, we talk about the universe and the connection, the divinity, and all that stuff. I don't want you guys to think that I'm not like pushing you to believe a certain thing. You can call it whatever you want, and I think that's what David's essentially saying here. It's like it's really all the same thing. You want to call it God, you want to call it whatever your religion refers to it as, universe, metaphysical things. Like they're all really the same thing. The underlying vibe of that is like just that connection to a higher calling, a higher purpose. And I think that's really what it all comes back to is having that connection to something that's almost outside of yourself, something that's bigger than just yourself. So
Yep.
then you can really help the people around you and build value in the world. And yeah, so I
Yes.
don't want you guys to be too weirded out by when we say God or things like that. It's essentially all the same thing. It's just your
Yeah.
interpretation of it.
I want you to be weirded out. You better get fucking weirded
Yeah.
out because I'm triggering the shit out of you guys. When you hear that word and you get
Hilarious.
uncomfortable, good. You're looking at your own internal demons. When you stare
Mm.
life directly in the fucking eyes and you take that call to adventure, you have no problem embracing that shit. Whatever name you want to give it, that's fine. I don't give a fuck. But like, anyways, we could speak about that. But yeah,
Yeah.
acknowledge that shit within yourself, man. That is your highest self. That is you.
Mm.
That is your
Mhm.
dream. Your dream by nature is God. That's one of the same thing. It's your mission for you to follow your dreams. Where the fuck does that come from? Follow your dreams. In my opinion, it was given to you upon birth. How do I know this? Because you have certain skills, stature, height, resources that only you in this exact place in time has. Do you know the chance of you being born was like what? What did Gary Vee say? One in like 4 fucking trillion or some
Like
shit,
trillions. It's like crazy
right?
amounts.
And you're telling me that you're here just by fucking chance? What a loser. If you truly believe that, you're a degenerate, you're going to die, and that's going to fucking suck.
Mm.
Create your purpose. Let's say, hypothetically, there's not determinism, right? This is where the free will versus determinism comes into place. Then create your goddamn purpose based on your natural proclivity, based on your
Yeah.
natural inclinations. What do you have at your disposal? And the way to find your purpose, just to give you guys a quick little hack, do what's in front of you. What is in front of you at this exact moment? Maybe that is, you know what, David? My girlfriend just broke up with me, and I'm low on money, and I need to start, this job, and I have a passion of music. Well, okay, great. Your girlfriend fucking left you. Maybe you start NoFap. You work that fucking job. You make money, and you start your goddamn music thing on the side. That's your mission. That's your purpose at this exact time and place. It's not
Mm.
some crazy fairy tale. You see, the reason people get uncomfortable when I say mission and purpose and God and all this stuff is because they're thinking of 10 years down the road. Your mission right now, I spoke about this in my live. Your mission right now is just picking up your fucking sword. It's not
Mm.
about slaying dragons. It's learning how to fucking hold it. You understand? And then it will
Mm.
evolve, right, as time goes on. So yeah.
Mm. That kind of connects to what we were talking about a minute ago too. And I wanted to touch on like obviously doing what's in front of you, just being aware enough to just get started with something. Do you feel like because we're in this age of oversaturation of stimulus and like there's just so much going on, there's so many distractions, do you feel like maybe that kind of gets in the way of some men actually having the
Yes.
focus to just be like, hey, I just have to do XYZ and
Oh
everything else doesn't
man.
matter?
Yep, you hit the nail on the fucking head, bro. And me too. Bro, we are
Hmm.
all the product
Right.
of this very, like I said at the very beginning of the call, this very easy time, right? When we have easy times, I mean, even what you just said depicts what I spoke about in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, because
Hmm.
everything is checked off. We now have the freedom to fucking create whatever scenario we want in our head. And we as men, we live in our fucking heads. That's why we create all these fucking stupid ideologies that get us nowhere, because we are
Hmm.
completely void of root. So to answer your question, yes, um, this is why dopamine detox and all these things are so popular. You know, I want you to live like a monk as a man, you know, live a very simple life. And I believe this is why minimalism, all these ideas have really taken off, because as men, you know what it's so funny. You know what I was watching yesterday while I was eating last night, right before I turned 24. Normally on YouTube, I watch, you know, self-development. You know what came up? It was this guy who was like solo camping. You know, he didn't say a fucking word. He was like in the hills. He was like eating food and there was like rain. And I found so much joy in that. And I was like, what the hell's going on? The reason we
Hmm.
find joy in that is because men love the most simplistic things. Men by nature, write this shit down, are minimalists. Men are not
Yeah.
consumerists. That is a woman's job. Men produce. In
Hmm.
fact, men consume very little. Look what the fuck I'm doing right now. If you can see, I have my camera right there and I'm speaking to Tino. Men produce. Men are minimalist. Men don't need all this fucking wishy-washy saturation bullshit. All right.
Hmm.
And that, again, that's what happens when we live too fucking high up. So to focus on your mission, yes, amazing question. Meditate. That's why meditation's so popular
Hmm.
too, because you just gotta be where you are at this exact moment, which is not always easy. I'm no fucking different. That's why going for walks, like Tino and I both did before this call, helps, because it puts things into perspective. You can become objective. If there's one thing
Hmm.
we can do in our life, it's to try your best to be as objective as you can, which is not easy. Holy crap. That is where the devil fucks you up, because that's where subjectivity and the snake will come into your ear and try to deter you off your path. And that's where fear comes. That's where you got to be, and this is a complete different topic we can speak of later, but like, you got to be careful of your feelings all the time, and
Hmm.
emotions and subjectivity, because
Yep.
that can really fuck you up and
Mm.
take you from what's being objective. I'm no different. This is probably one of my biggest demons, is I think for every man, but I react too much sometimes. It's one thing I've learned the past 2 years. And when I look back, I realized that I didn't have to. I could have just been still and not just be like this barking dog. You know, you can even see me
Mm.
now. I'm a little too too crazy.
Mm.
But yeah, we all got demons, baby. You know.
Yeah, there's a lot of great things in there with what you just said, and I think that state of stillness is something I really try to talk about on my channel, guys. If you've seen some of my past videos, that's a heavy topic of what I've been talking about very recently, is men dealing with stillness, not always having to feel like you need stimulation. And this is
Mhm.
something I work on this as well. I mean, I'm not, like David was saying, we're all subjects to technology, to the things that are just in our reality. We're no exception to that rule. Um, but as much as you can, if it's just going for a 30-minute walk like we did and outside with no phones, no distractions, no people around you, that stuff starts to just cultivate the stillness and that groundedness. So I want to also ask, David, a question from that, because I think that is another problem with modern men, is not having that awareness, not having that comfortability being alone. So
Hmm.
what are your thoughts on that, David? Do you feel like men don't have a solid relationship with themselves, or that awareness to really move forward?
Absolutely, bro. It's so funny too, because like, you know, manhood and masculinity on paper, what do they say? It's easy, but it's not simple. Or it's simple. Sorry, it's simple, but it's not easy. Masculinity is one of the
Mhm.
most simple things to this world. It's very simple, right? What,
Yeah.
what did Elliot Hollis call it? Chop wood, carry water. Essentially, you wake up, you do your mission, and you die. You're disposable as a man, and not in a bad way, but you create a legacy. Like, think of yourself kind of like, I don't know. You're like a shovel. A man is like a shovel or like a hammer. That's literally what he is. He wakes. He's welded right by the creator. You're a fucking hammer. Go hammer out what you got to do in life, and then you break. You die. That's it. That's it. And the more you can come back to that, the easier your life will be. You see, when we fall into subjectivity, which you got to keep in mind, the reason we do this is because, man, we can speak of a ton of things. We live in a very gynocentric society right now. We live in a very feminized society, and this is not me being mean. This is like, open your fucking eyes,
Mhm.
because of what I said before. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. There's no order and structure. So what happens is, what the fuck was the question? Sorry, I'm speaking of so many things. The question was, gaining that stillness, right?
Right.
As a man, bring it back to your uncle or bring it back to your grandfather. My grandfather, what did he do, man? Like he was a grounded ass man, Japanese guy. I think he woke up, he did his job, he had a little garden, he would garden his stuff, and then he would go to bed, and he'd have his wife. That's it. And he'd have his family, and he would just feed his family. That's it. That's it. He doesn't need any fucking emotions. He doesn't need any stimulus. He doesn't need to feel very inspired and very happy. Guys, as I get older as a man, and I made a video on this, do what's in front of you. If you want those dreams, you want those amazing experiences, which you will have, I'm all for it. It's doing what's in front of you. It's being okay. Really what it is, Tino, is being okay with the mundane. If you can be
Mhm.
okay with that, when I look at even my brother, he's a bit younger than me. And so many guys, they constantly need to be fed. Really what it is it's dopamine hits. It's emotion, it's feeling, it's subjectivity, it's, Fortnite, it's this, it's that next video game, next FAP, next this. That's why I think NoFap is
Mhm.
such a revolutionary. Oh my goodness, man. NoFap is such a huge thing that every man needs to embark on, because what that's doing, dead
Mhm.
in the eye, is being okay with quote unquote boredom. And when you
Yeah.
start with that, you can get in touch with God, with mission, with yourself. Everything we've spoken of this past half an hour has all touched on the same things. It's a great
Mhm.
conversation. It's very simple, but not easy, right?
Yeah. No, I agree. It's like these things are not out of your control. They're very doable, but it's like the practice of just doing it is where a
Mm-hmm.
lot of guys get tripped up. And I
Yep.
wanted to touch on that too with what you were saying, like with boredom and just being okay with doing the day-to-day grind. Like I was in a live stream recently and one of my audience members was asking me like what happened, like how do I move forward without feeling motivated? Like if I don't feel like doing something, like how do I just get myself to keep going? And I said, well, to be honest with you, man, motivation is a very fleeting thing. I wouldn't rely on that because you could wake up one day, feel hella motivated, and then get to work. But then the next day, you're like, ah, man, I don't really know. I'm not really feeling it today. But
Yep.
is that going to
Fact.
be the indicator of how much work or what you actually get done? I say it's better to focus on discipline and consistency because that is always linear. It's not up and down. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like a fucking roller coaster, basically. So I wanted to ask you, like, what is it that you feel just lost my train of thought.
No,
Um
I know what to say based on what you're saying. Like, I have an idea, unless you want to say something.
yeah, I think I was basically just gonna ask you, wow, I just lost my total train of thought.
We'll come back to it, because I actually want to say something about this.
Yeah, go for it.
You were saying, yeah, so fuck motivation, discipline and everything,
Right,
but
right, right.
consistency is better, which it is. There's actually one thing though that you need to do, and this is it's kind of what you're saying, but it's even more simple. Ditch your feelings.
Yes.
Ditch your fucking emotions. You don't have to feel anything about it, guys. And this is why creating challenge in your life. Let's say, no matter fucking what, I go to the gym Monday through Saturday. I go to the gym every single day. No matter what, creating schedule is so fucking important as a man. And
Yes.
that's what all men love and want to do. So on,
Mhm.
let's say, as a YouTuber, for me, on Monday and Thursday, I post on self-develop. On Tuesday and Friday, I post a vlog. Wednesday is my podcast. Saturday, I go live. Every one of those days I go to the gym. And let's say at this time I go to Starbucks, this time I wake up. Creating order and structure in your life, right? Jordan Peterson says, make your fucking bed, right?
Yeah.
That is so important. And then once you create that structure, you don't have to feel anything about it. In fact, after this, I'm going to the gym. Do I really want to? Yeah, sometimes I do, sometimes I do. It doesn't matter. That is negligible. It does not fucking matter whatsoever how you feel when you create a realm of order that is going to be beneficial. Now, I'm not saying be masochistic. Some guys in the manosphere,
Mhm.
they take it too extreme and they
Right.
torture themselves essentially, and that's, at that point, not only is that counterproductive, that's a sin. What is the word? It's pride, right? And
Mhm.
that's actually another topic we can speak of, when men over abuse things, which I know you and I have, where it's like, you know what, fuck fasting only 16 hours, I'm gonna fast 2 days. He went 2 days, I'm gonna go 3 days. He did no fat for 2 months, I'm gonna go 4 months. Right now,
Mhm.
that can work if that's objectively helping your life, but the reality of times is it's not. You're just
Mhm.
really, you're moving into sin, which is just pride. That's one of
Yeah.
the biggest deadly sins. And the reason it's a huge sin is because you're now fully in your emotion.
Hmm.
You're fully in your emotion as a man. How can I one up this guy and I have to be better? Boy, you're
Hmm.
beautiful the way you are. You're fine. If God says, do you know if after 30 days that's all you need, then that's fine. So it's
Hmm.
being objective, because there's two parts to this, right? To create your schedule. You don't create your schedule as a man. This is where, again, you bring it back to divine inspiration or being still. God creates your schedule, right? And whatever that name means to you, your highest self, I don't give a fuck. That creates your schedule as far as, what would be very beneficial for my life. And how do you find this? Look at what's around in your life. It seems from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock p.m., I always have 2 hours of free time. Whoa, maybe I can fill that up with the gym. And then you capitalize on that, right? And you make that routine, you make that schedule, and you use that for the foreseeable future. And when that changes, which it will, because as men, our routine changes, we change, then adapt. But as a man, find your schedule, create that schedule, maximize that. You don't have to feel anything about it. And once you can do all those 4 steps, the fifth step is your dream life unfolds. Things
Hmm.
magically work out beautifully. You find an amazing girlfriend, you travel to this place, this happens, and it's very fantastic because you were cool eating fucking chicken, broccoli, and rice, sticking to the mundane, the normality, the
Hmm.
schedule.
Hmm. I agree 100%, man. And I'm glad you picked that up because that's kind of where I was alluding to with the question is like with the feelings and how you can't really rely on those as an indicator to take action because maybe some of you joined my previous live stream, but I said in there openly, I did not feel like doing the live stream that day. I was tired. I had a long day. I filmed a lot of content beforehand, and I just felt like pretty tired. I didn't really want to do it. But if I always relied on my feelings and how I was feeling in that moment, I wouldn't have a YouTube channel. I
Facts.
wouldn't I wouldn't have the momentum that I have now. So it's being okay with it. And someone else talked about this as well that I know, but it's like I forget the way that they put it, but it's just being okay with eating dirt for
Yeah.
an extended period of time because that's where the pleasure comes from. I want you guys to understand that too. And I think David's kind of alluding to that as well. It's not that your life is devoid of fun and pleasure and good things. That happens on the other side of the hard work, the hard hat shit, the just getting things done. You don't have pleasure without having the hard work
Yeah.
established.
Fact. Yeah.
So I think for me, like one thing that I try to tell my audience, one thing I try to do in my life is to just do it, just to get started. Because a lot of times that anticipation of the thing that we want to do is usually the thing that causes the most anxiety. So when
Mhm.
you just do it, you start to feel more motivated as you're doing it. Like even with this live stream, or not live stream, but this recording with David, we were both kind of getting used to doing this. It wasn't super like, oh yeah, like let's fucking go, and we were like all ready to do it. We had some hiccups in the beginning, but
Yep.
as we just did it, we're still rolling now. It's like it just comes with the thing that we're doing as we're in the moment.
Yeah, man, that is so crucial. Holy crap. Just to touch on that quickly, as men, your emotion follows your emotion. So how you feel
Yeah.
follows what you do. And this is why, as men, our sense of purpose actually comes through our actions. I'm sure you guys have all heard this quote: "Women are valued for who they are. Men are valued for what they can provide, for what they can do." Right.
Hmm.
That's why I said you're a hammer. God builds you as a hammer. Why? So you can fucking look pretty as a hammer? No, that's a girl's job. So you can hammer things out. That's how a man's purpose comes. That's how his sense of joy and fulfillment comes. A man, and make no mistake to all the black pill YouTubers, and you don't have to get that deep. Just a lot of guys who get very self-conscious. You're you're listening to your feelings too much and you're being narcissistic, like as if everything revolves around you. Two, you're taking no fucking action. A man's value comes through what he can produce. That's a huge reason I shave my head, right? Like, I'm not saying you have to go shave your head, but like find ways in which you can actually temporarily make yourself uglier as a man, because what that's going to do is that's going to force you to level up something else. Okay, bet if my looks went down a little bit, I'm going to have to fucking make more money or make more value or provide some sort of resource. Do you understand? And that's where a man's sense of fulfillment comes. That's, believe it or not, how attraction comes. Because what is
Yeah.
attractive to a woman? Yes, looks can help. Don't get me wrong, but it's masculinity. Why? Because that's what creates sexual polarity. And I know a ton of good looking guys who are very feminine, very feminine. They
Mhm.
can't pull chicks for shit.
Yep.
Right. As some of the best looking guys, I would argue the best looking guys objectively in the world, for those who don't believe me, are gay. Right. And nothing wrong with it, but like those are the best looking guys in the world. Why don't they pull women? Because it's about energy. Some of
Yes.
the most attractive, well-rounded men I look up to in my life, they're not the prettiest boys in the world, but they take action. They do. All right. They're
Mm.
like, fuck it, man. And you know what? Another thing is too very important to you guys. It's indifference. Bro, if a chick thinks I'm ugly, fantastic, man. That actually makes me fucking happy or good because now I can work harder. Yeah. You guys got to like at some point, boyhood to manhood, you gotta and believe me, I say this because this really affected me growing up in high school. You have to stop taking so much pride in just your appearance and you have to start taking pride in what you can provide. So,
Mm.
so important. That is such a healthier game to play as a man because you have control of this. I can't control if I'm 6'5", this, but I can control what I do. Right. So stop
Mhm.
trying to be the prettiest hammer. Just fucking do what a hammer's supposed to do and watch naturally your attraction grow. And if you disagree with me, what do you think sexual marketplace value means? And why do you think it? Here's a perfect fucking example. Why is a man statistically search this shit up? Tell me, why does your sexual marketplace value increase with age as a man? You're not getting prettier with age as a man. We know that.
Mhm.
You're gaining more resources as a man. You're more viable for taking action. You're getting stronger. You're getting bigger. You're making more money. You tell me that. You're
Mhm.
prettiest as a boy at like, I don't know, teenagehood, right? High school, college. 30, 40-year-old men, you ain't getting prettier, bro. But why are they getting more attractive and higher on that scale? There's your
Mm.
fucking proof right there for all the
Mhm.
people who get butthurt about that.
Yes. I love that we're talking about this right now because that's exactly a video that I just made. And by the time you're seeing this, you probably already saw my video, but essentially I was talking about why you're not attracting women. And the real reason because of that is what David just said. Like you don't feel like you have value or you're not providing value as a man. It has nothing to do with, oh, my jawline isn't super cut. Like
Yeah,
this
what the
this
fuck?
fucking celebrity or like I'm not 6'5". I
Yeah,
don't have
yeah,
like muscles help. I'm not like that's
yeah.
looks matter. Let's not fucking lie here. Like your appearance does matter, but your energy, the way you carry yourself, the confidence that you build by doing the things that you want to do as a man, by being
Mhm.
on your purpose, on your shit, that's what attracts women. And I'll give you guys a story. I was talking about this in my video. Like there was a point in my life where I was obsessed with women. I literally just wanted to get a girlfriend for like 5 to 6 years. My New Year's resolution every year was to get a girlfriend. I wish I was making this up. I literally was that guy. And every year I was like, this is the year, man. I'm going to get a girlfriend this year. Finally, it's going to happen. And, you put too much time and energy into that. And when you finally like talk to women, they sense that that's where neediness comes from because you feel
Mhm.
like they're going to validate you in some way or they're going to give you this rush or this result that you're looking for. But when you just scrap all of that and you just
Mhm.
focus internally and what you're building as a man, bro, I can't tell you from like 5 years ago to now the amount of women that has just gravitated towards me in some crazy way. I mean, I'm not even doing anything, but women just like flock to me. And I'm not trying to brag, I'm not trying to be like, yo, look at me, but it just happens that way. It's crazy.
Mhm. Mhm. And I just want to touch on something real quick too about the look thing, right? So
Yeah,
here's why looks matter, okay? Because the look in and of itself, when you break it down just with the look, like let's say it's void of any energy, masculinity, purpose whatsoever, and it's just based on look.
sure.
The reason that doesn't Oh, I kind of spoke myself in circles. The reason looks matter is because they are a signification. They are essentially a pointer, a precursor to other more important things. So if you have a
Right.
physical strong stature, you have a lower body fat, you have more muscles, well, that is
Mhm.
providing and pointing that you are more than likely a man with work ethic. Do you understand?
Yes,
This is
yes.
why looks matter. If you're a fat ugly looking motherfucker who doesn't take care of himself, what is that pointing to? And again, make no mistake, guys, I know I've been to many gyms. Like, let's say I just talked to a security guard earlier today. Maybe he was like, 5'6", 5'5", but he was a well put together man. And there was a lot of
Mhm.
respect, and we could feel that he took care of himself. He spoke with virtue. He was around my age. He was very grounded. And it was very admirable, right?
Mhm.
It wasn't the best looking guy in the world, but there's a level of respect there, even from a man. And that's so, oh man. Even let's speak of tribe members, right? As men,
Mhm.
we value men and we trust men based on what they can provide, not for how fucking good you look. And in fact, how good you look, there can be resource derived from that. Don't get me wrong. Let's say, you make a lot of money because you're in a modeling agency, but when shit hits the fan and we're in the real fucking world, how much value can that bring?
Right.
Usually not too much. I would much rather trust the guy who I know has my back. He'll ride out for me, man. Buddy, I don't give a fuck what you look like. Can you ride out for me or not? Right? You're
Exactly.
you're good looking on top. Great. You're pretty to look at, but like that doesn't add any more value to me as a man, whether you can ride out for me or not. You understand?
Hmm.
Help you guys.
And well, I remember one of your videos, you said that, and I think you were saying like, looking back on your life, like the greatest mentors that you've had as men, like guys that have really helped you move forward. Maybe it was a coach, maybe it was a teacher, maybe it was somebody in your life who was a figure that helped mold you. You're not really looking back on that guy and thinking, man, he had some really nice clothes, or like he had a really nice looking body, or like he had
Yeah.
pretty face. Like you're not thinking about that. You're thinking about
Fact.
the value that he gave you, or just the guidance, the wisdom that he shared with you. It's not the physical appearance. And at the end of the day, man, like that's really what matters is the value.
Of course. And the thing is, too, guys, the irony is that when you actually begin to focus more so on your value, your looks then follow afterwards. It's
Yeah,
such a catch 22. When you
it
over
is.
focus on your looks or things you can't control, you deteriorate. Where when you focus on, you know what, I can make more. What do they say? There's no ugly successful man, right?
Mhm.
No such thing, bro. You find a successful man who's well put together, man. He's got good resource, good stature. Hey, he ain't ugly anymore, man. Ain't fucking
Yeah,
ugly anymore. And if you don't believe me, I mean, look at women. Like they gravitate towards these men, dude, buddy.
I do.
If you're an NFL player or you have XYZ, you're a man of status, you're a man of value. You think of guys like Elon Musk, with all due respect, in the past, here's a perfect example, actually. Elon Musk was pretty fucking hideous in the past. I don't know
I've
if you
seen
saw him.
those pictures.
Yeah, like you've seen those, and even Jeff Bezos. These were some
Yep.
like wacky looking men, but now guess what? Because they focused on their value and what they can produce, why all of a
Mhm.
sudden are they better looking? Right?
Mhm.
Because money can change a lot of things, guys. You can get a hair transplant, you can lose 30 pounds, you can get jacked, right? Shave your fucking head, do what you need to do. Look at
Mhm.
Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. They're well put together men. Jeff Bezos is jacked, bro. He's like an intimidating ass looking dude. You saw him 15 years ago, he looked like a fucking nerd. He looked like a librarian,
Yeah.
right? Same with Elon Musk, well put together man. It
Mhm.
happens as time goes on. So please, I get, because as men, right? And here's the thing too. The only reason as men why we're so over fixated again on looks and very feminine things is because we live in a gynocentric society. We live in a society that you as a man don't know how to provide value. And because we don't know how to provide value, we look to women, right? This is a big reason the education system is so fucked up. Men and women should not be taught together for a lot of reasons, because we as men, we think logistically, well, I value a woman for the way she looks, which is statistically how it works, right? Women are valued for
Mhm.
who they are. If you're a girl and you look good, right? Granted, we can go much deeper into this because you need to provide value as a woman, but in a very different way. But if you look good as a woman, you're submissive, you're able to nurture a man, help him on his mission. You will have no issue in life. I promise you. You will have very little issue. So men, we think, okay, I value her because of these traits. She's good looking, things that really are out of our control. We think the same must be towards us, right?
Mhm.
And that's
Mhm.
just not the reality. And the reason you don't know this is because we don't have any male role models to show you this. The school system is run by female teachers, right?
Mhm.
We live in, like, I mean, you think about it, guys. The second you're born, and I'm a culprit of this too. The second you're born, you are put into daycares run by who? Woman. Schools run by who? Woman. From the first breath of fucking air you get from
Mhm.
around 18 years old, you are predominantly taught by women. That's all you know in this realm. You know nothing of manhood. You know nothing of value, what we actually need to provide, right? Until you hit
Mhm.
the workforce at around like 22 years old. And by that point, you're a simp. Like, that's the sad reality. And all these men, they then come to the manosphere and they're like, yo, I got to learn this shit, right? So there's
Mhm.
hope, man. You'll be okay. Provide value. And
Yeah.
again, there's no ugly, successful man. Very important.
Mhm. Yeah, and I wanted to touch on what you just said because that was my experience. Growing up, I didn't have a lot of strong masculine figures to look at. Now I had my father, of course, but he wasn't really taught that himself. So he kind of was coming from the same place. And obviously, you can only take people as deep as you go yourself.
Mm,
So he could only show me so much. And I
right.
was on the search for masculinity, what that meant to be a man, how that really can change your life. And I always felt growing up like I wasn't man enough. I didn't feel manly. I didn't really know what that even meant, to be honest. And, it took me until I was 23, I think, 23, 24, until I really took a dive into what that meant. And I found this information, found YouTubers, found coaching, and it kind of led me down this path. But I want you guys to understand that it's not your fault for the reason if you do feel that way, it's not your direct fault. So like I have a client who, he's in his 30s and he was telling me, man, I wish I knew this when I was younger. He felt down on himself. And I said, like, bro, like you were put in a bad situation. It's not because you were you. It's because we were all, we all had that a similar type of upbringing with a lack of a male role model.
Mhm.
Some are better than
Yeah.
others, of course, but we were put in a less than ideal situation. So that's why we have channels like mine, like David's, like everybody in this manosphere. That's why we exist, because that
Yeah.
doesn't, that there wasn't that in, you want to call it the mainstream. It's just
Fact.
non-existent.
Fact, man. Yeah, we can even touch on that for a little bit because that's such a huge part of life as men, like you alluded to.
Mhm.
Men, I'm not sure if you said this or not, but men learn through other men, right? This
Yeah.
is I mean, why the fuck do you think it's called mentor? There's a reason for this. Right?
Yeah.
It's not called woman tour. Can you imagine? I'm just gonna visit my woman tour. Anyways,
Mhm.
men throughout all history, and this is why when you study the history of manhood, there's always been initiation. There's been mentors there. In the hero's call to adventure, right? The second phase is meeting a mentor, right?
Mhm.
So maybe you come across our YouTube channels, or for me, that was Elliot Hulse when I was 15 years old. So as men, we learn how to be men through other men. It is like you
Yes.
alluded to, it is not something. Take this shit to the bank because this is why so many men suffer. It's not something you are born with that you will intrinsically just wake up and be like, I know what it is to be a man. No, it has to be taught.
Yep.
It is not something like, and this is very important too, man. This is so important. Men and women are so different. Like it's,
Hmm.
as a girl, and we can speak about this, and I'm not saying they have a free ride or it's necessarily walking the tulips for them, but a lot of these things women can naturally, upon birth, understand. Right. And especially when a woman has her period, she has that. If you knew this, a woman's period is her initiation to womanhood because she
Mm.
can now conceive, she can have children. Right. Men don't have that. Right. So
Right.
men don't have an initiation and we don't have mentors, father figures. And we know that we live in a gynocentric society. So women generally can learn from their mothers. Men can't learn from their fathers. And when you have that void, you get that cut off. Oh man, a man is fucked up. So it's backstory to you guys. My dad died when I was 14. I stopped talking to him at around 10 years old. He was diagnosed with cancer. So at 10, I couldn't really talk to him too much. I
Mm.
didn't have that fucking mentor. And that's the reason I have this here. But so number one, it's not your fault. Shit's gonna happen. Fathers are completely gone. But two, we have to look for mentors
Yep.
because you will not learn this shit by yourself. You learn this through other men who are going through with this. This is why in any sport, in any military, in any job, there is hierarchy and there is rank. There's a reason for this because that's how you learn, right? Through people
Hmm.
above you. That's what religion is. This is why I recommend it to so many men because you learn virtues through men who have done this before you. Otherwise, you have
Hmm.
no fucking clue, right? So it's
Hmm.
good. Reach your hand out is what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah, and I feel like that's something that maybe not a lot of, well, I know it's something not a lot of guys in this current state of manhood do. I know a guy who we used to hang out a little bit not too long ago, and he clearly was a guy who was completely focused on women, wasn't focused on himself, and he just needed a lot of help. But the issue was, now, granted, he's a lot older than me. He's probably, well, not a lot older, but he's probably in his 30s. And he was clearly struggling with a lot of different things. He knew I was a coach. He knew I made YouTube videos. He knew all this, but he was afraid to ask for help. And I almost
Mhm.
wonder if that is the thing that maybe gets in the way, is that ego, or that, like you were talking about, pride.
Yeah.
You feel like that is maybe one of the contributing reasons, at least for a lot of modern men, why they don't seek help, is because they're maybe too prideful, or they
Yeah.
feel too afraid to.
Great question. Wow, this man, we're speaking of so I truly believe if
So
you're a
many.
man of any age, like you watch this one podcast, you every answer checked, every fucking answer
Good.
checked. Where the majority of other interviews and podcasts, they just talk about female nature and how to get her
Hmm.
back. Fuck all that degenerate shit, man. You're a product of your gynocentric society. Again, like
Yeah.
are you not seeing you're falling into the trap? Anyways,
Mhm.
this is a different topic, man. Um, So the question was, yeah, of course, man. So the thing is, well, here's why. Here, I'll tell you why, man. Learning masculinity, and I say this because this affected me as it affects anybody, because it is so elusive, because it is so rare, and it is not taught. We as men don't even know how to reach out for help. We
True.
like, what do they say? You can't fix a problem if you don't know you have a fucking problem. Like if I don't know
Hmm.
if I don't know if I have a leak in my roof, I'm not gonna go get it fixed. I have
Yeah.
no clue,
Hmm.
right? How many times does that happen to you guys? Like in a house, you're like, how long did I leave that running for? How, right? Awareness in and of itself is transformative. So for us to bring back masculinity to say, hey, you know what? Like, actually, you have to learn this as a man. It's not something that you will be taught, and it's actually being hidden away from you. Now we can normalize this. It really just comes down to normalizing it. And naturally, through that, we will reach out to help. Right, for channels like
Hmm.
this, because it's an encouraged thing, guys, in all society, throughout all history. This was normal. There were mentors, there was initiation, there was tribe. It was such an encouraged, normal part of life. Just like you eat and shit. That's how common learning masculinity and going to these rites of passage were. But now there's no
Hmm.
rites of passage. That's another huge reason why men struggle.
Hmm.
Rites of passage is such a huge thing, and there is none today. So how do we do this? Well, we need to create rites of passage in our lives as men, because if we don't, you will fall into what the media tells you is your rites of passage. You know, how many women can you fuck? You know,
Hmm.
how many drugs can you take? What is it? I mean, just look at pop culture and turn on the
Yep.
radio, and there's your rites of passage as a man. And that's
Hmm.
very satanic. Not only that, it's degenerate. Not only that, it's a product of gynocentrism. And that's
Hmm.
what a lot of these red pill YouTubers don't understand. They're promoting becoming more womanly, right? It's so
Hmm.
funny. These guys are all masculine channels, and it's like, but you're promoting falling into temptation, which is only something that women do, because women know themselves through this earthly plane, through this realm. Do you understand? That's why women are consumers. Men are not. Men do not know themselves through this 3D earthly realm. They know themselves through heavens. They know themselves through astral realms, through moving forward. I mean,
Hmm.
think about it, right? If you don't believe me, David, that's bullshit. Men live here on this earth for now. Bullshit. You think men go to wars just because they can live here on this earth now? Men create inventions. Men, I would argue, this is a complete different topic, don't even want to be here on this earth. A lot of men do what
Yeah.
they do so they can leave. I don't know about you guys, buddy. When I am not in a relationship, which we can speak of in it in another time, because that's actually a woman's role to ground a man, I don't want to be here. The reason I'm so crazy, and I seemingly, and maybe this is my own neurosis, men, the analogy I spoke to friends on is men are self-detonating bombs. That's what a man is. A man is a grenade, and a man knows that. A man will fulfill his mission, do what he needs to do. This is why men play extreme sports. This is why men climb Mount Everest. They do these things for a reason. Number one, they want to provide value, a service, their mission, and then they want to fuck off and die. Men don't want to be here on this earth. I'll tell you that. But the reason men are here on this earth is because of family. This is why I promote relationships and family so much, because if a man doesn't have that, a man has
Hmm.
nothing to live for. Nothing. When I'm not in a relationship, I have very little to live for. I'll do my self-develop videos. I'll help you guys, but that's it. And then I want to say, God, fucking, I'm out of this shit. I want to go back home, my real home. I want to get out of this fucking chaotic matriarchal society. So I know I spoke of many things there. Be in relationships. Have a good woman, because she'll keep you grounded in this reality, because men do not want to live in this reality. That is not a man's nature. Man's nature is religious. It is ethereal. It is the next plane. This is how men think. We're objective. We're long term. We're not focused on here too much. You understand? And that's why all these YouTubers who promote degeneracy, as far as, yeah, fuck more bitches, take more drugs, do all this, you're you're fucking everything up. You're keeping man stuck on this hellish earth realm. That's not what manhood wants. Manhood wants the next realm. This is why I keep speaking of mission. And then you can
Hmm.
enjoy your fruits of your labor at the time being, which is here, but you don't get too concerned with that, because that will leave. They speak of all this shit in every single religion, right? Don't build up your resources here on this earthly realm. Build it with the kingdom within. There are reasons for this. You ain't going to be here forever. And as a man, you might die tomorrow. People don't realize this shit. Buddy, you could be gone. And I always tell myself this, and this is a bit of a side tangent. And I'll digress here, because I'm getting a little bit too deep. You see, even the way I speak, this is how men speak. Men are all in a race for the truth, and the
Hmm.
truth will kill you. That's how it works. So you have the truth here, which is the kingdom, heaven, whatever you want to see. All men, this is what mission is. We're all running to find the truth. Once we get it, we die. And that's what we want. Men don't want to be here forever.
Hmm.
Um, Anyways, I'll digress with that. The thing I was gonna, yeah, I will maybe later in the podcast. That's good enough, but it's all good. Happy
Yeah.
guys, do your shit.
Hmm. No, I agree, man. I think that one of the things that stuck out to me with what you were saying is the relationship side of things. And I was actually on a live stream yesterday, and we were talking about that, how a lot of the people in this manosphere, just in the YouTube content world, if you want to say, um, they don't really talk about the benefits of a relationship. They kind of just talk about
Yeah, let's talk about
hookups
this.
and, getting with women and like what line to say, female nature, hypergamy, all that cushy stuff. And not a lot of videos about relationships. There are some, and I've been lucky to find a couple people that talk about it. However, I don't see that as being the most popular things on
Yep.
YouTube. So I know you have a strong opinion about these as well. So I want to ask you, like, why do you think that is, and
Yep.
maybe what are some of the benefits of having a strong relationship with a woman?
Great question, man. Holy shit, guys. I'm just setting up my camera for this time lapse here. Wow. That is, give me one sec. All right, let's start you right there. Boom and doom. Okay, we're good to go. So, what a great fucking question. This is why my channel, so much for anyone who's watching self-developed, is turned so much more towards religion, family, relationship, purpose, mission, because that is the only thing that will keep you alive as a man. If you do not have a relationship or family or God, you have nothing. You are useless. You're a fucking twig blowing in the fucking wind, getting used up by our matriarchal government society. And then you're dead. And none of these red pill YouTubers will tell you this, because they're just negligent. They just don't know this shit. The majority of the manosphere, with all due respect, they're fucking idiots. And I say this shit to myself too, because when I first started, I didn't know this shit. So I can't, toot my own horn. But let me just open this a little bit. But what am I saying? Yeah, you're saying what's the importance of relationship and family? Holy shit, it's everything. My goodness, guys. And I'm 24 today, so listen to me. I'm a goddamn man now. As I get older, I realize, oh my goodness, guys. As a man, let me break it in. There's only two things you do as a man here on this earth. Everything else is secondary. I don't give a fuck about. Number one, you fulfill your mission, God's mission, right? You do what you need to do, your service to humanity. And then two, you leave a legacy. That's it. That's it. Nothing else matters. So men work vertically. Okay. So, I mean, you think of this, we ejaculate, we create children. That is our legacy. So men move upwards. And this is why a lot of children will not know their fathers by chance too. And this is why all religion story is just that, it's a story. You can't see these men because they're already gone, right? They do this for a reason, right? Number one, men, they fulfill their mission, which is moving upwards towards God, the heavens, etc. And then they leave their legacy, their lineage, which is their children, so they can create more strong society. Do you understand? And the problem with hookup culture and things like that is it's degenerate. It does neither of those things. And in fact, it does this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to use this because men are very visual. This is how masculinity works. This is how femininity works. And that's why they actually work together. Any man who is listening to most red pill YouTubers is doing this. You're actually living in the realm of women, which is addiction, which is sensation. That's really what it comes down to. It's consuming. It's how many women can I sleep with here? And then you'll think, well, no, David, I just want to, be a man. You're living with another huge sin, pride. You're not doing this because you want to. You're doing this because this will make me feel better. Okay, again, satanic, same realm. Like, I'm not saying women are Satan or they're devils, but anything that keeps you locked in this 3D realm is degenerate. It's dying. If it's not moving you upwards, you're dying. Okay, so I mean, we can speak about things later on, but yes, get into relationships as men. This is a complete different topic with it. Man, we can talk about this for fucking hours, man, but like, get into a relationship. Okay, guys, I need to make this so clear. If you're a guy, you're 15, 16, you're experimenting, that's fine. Go fuck some woman. That's cool. No more than like 3 or 4. Just experiment. Okay, I get it. That's the only time I'm cool with it, because I've been there and I can only say what I've done. Once you get out of that party phase, which most men never do, which is why the red pill's so degenerate in the first place, because it's all full of, with all due respect, just fucking losers. That's why they gravitate so much towards it, because they never went through that party phase. As a man, try to go through that party phase pretty early on. Okay.
Mm.
And if you can't, I'll speak about that in different topics. Once you go through that, find a relationship. Okay. Now, I'm not saying you're going to marry this chick. You might be with her for 6 months, right? You may be with her for a year. You might move on to a different girl. But the intent, guys, is you want to be with this girl as a learning experience, as a way to grow as a man. Okay. And I really mean, especially once you hit around 20 years old, right? When you hit around 20, you should not be with a girl unless you consider marrying her. And if you're not, then you're playing fucking games and we just don't have time for this. Maybe you guys do. I don't. My only concern is moving forward and leaving a legacy. I could not be bothered by anything else. And that's what maturity is as a man. It's
Mhm.
moving away from effeminacy. It's moving away from feely, cushy, cushy. And if you want to chase that path, buddy, I've been there. I've coached thousands of men. You can try it, go for it. You'll be fucking miserable. And not only that, you'll accomplish nothing in life. And not only that, God will not be happy with your bullshit performance. That's what we need to normalize as men. We need to normalize judgment. Men need to be judged harder. Do you want to know why we live in such a degenerate, gynocentric society? Because there's no judgment. You can do whatever the fuck you want as a man, and you'll be promoted. You can be as fat and obese as you want, as lazy and broke as you want, but you'll still get a fucking medal and a ribbon. That's wrong. That is bad. Men need to judge people. That's why men need religion again, because religion is about judgment. There are very clear yes and no's in life. And if we have no clear yes and no's, which is order, we fall into degeneracy. I mean, can you think about it, dude? I'll speak this quickly here, but like, anyways, different topics, but I've seen firsthand this past year and a half so many instances where there's so much chaos, and chaos only happens because there's a lack of order. Maternity is, again, this needs more context, so I don't want to trigger people, but maternity is chaos, right? And not because women are bad, but women, they don't have order. They run off their emotions, right? If I feel good, if I feel bad, this is chaos, okay? Order is direct, and men are orderly. And the reason we have such a chaotic society is because we have no order. So what I'm saying is I have experienced firsthand so many instances in this condo building in particular where there's been so much chaos because there's no father. And I know it because when I talk to these individuals, it's all women. I know this and I'm like, God damn it. Like, of course it is. We need more order, and order is harsh. Order is judgment. Order is yes, that is right, that is wrong. As men, especially as children, if we don't have strong fathers that can give us boundaries, do this, don't do this, you're fucked. You are fucked. Holy
Mhm.
crap. But it's sad because in our society, they demonize this and they do this on purpose, guys. This is what you don't understand. Our third wave feminist society, which I'm not going to go too deep into in this podcast, it's all been a plot. This is not just by chance. This has been very articulated and created to emasculate men and then kill family. Why do we need to do that? Because then we live in a chaotic world. Well, why does that matter? Look around you. Look
Mhm.
at the pandemic. Look at this stuff. This is a byproduct because there's been no order and hierarchy. You see, you're in the States, Tino. I'm not. I'm in Canada. I see this shit. I've
Yeah.
seen this 1,001 times. It's the proof is in the pudding. It's around you. Why is there no such thing as COV, whatever? I'm not gonna get this demonetized. Why is there no such thing as that in Florida and Texas, and a lot of places in the States? Because y'all motherfuckers have
Right.
guns. We don't. Right? You have order. You have men that are going to say, fuck off. It's not a real thing. COVID, Kufit finishes when you say it finishes. And in the States, they've said it's fucking done. And guess what? It's
Mm.
done. So here in Canada, because they're much more liberal, it's taken a lot longer. Canadian truckers, they finally had a fucking enough and said, fuck you, it's done and it's done. And they've made so many strides. Holy crap. If there's one thing you can learn, and don't listen to the media because they're not showing a lot of shit and they're only showing what they want to say. The truckers who were men who said enough is enough, we need to bring back order, have done so much. They've changed so
Mhm.
much. And in fact, I believe 5 provinces, and provinces are like states here in Canada, have abandoned mandates because of them. In fact,
Mhm.
here in Ontario, starting March 1st, we're getting rid of proof of vaccination and shit like that. And they'll
Mm.
say, oh, it's because the science has changed. No, it's because order came back and said, fuck you. We need order. If there's no order, you're fucked. You'll get butt fucked your entire life.
Mm.
And that's what's happened. That's what is happening. So, anyways, I digress. But yeah.
Mm. We there's a lot in there, and I love everything that we just talked about, and I think what I'm taking away from that is a lack of order, and I think that was a big thing that you kept bringing up. I would say that right there is one of the biggest reasons that men, specifically men, um, have all these issues, and they are influenced by the media. They are
Yeah.
influenced by the things that are said on TV and by celebrities that talk about these things, that be these big giant groups. I'm not going to name any names, but there's these like big movements that they all have influence over you, because in your life as a man, that order is lacking. And when
Yeah.
you lack direction, when you lack that clarity, it's easy to be manipulated and pulled into these different ways. And I was there at one point too. I mean, I think we all have been there, but just being aware of that is huge.
Yep.
It's huge.
And you know what, man? Dude, this is such a good podcast, top, whatever you want to call this.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh man. Listen up, guys. All right. This is why it's sad. I mean, we can change it. All is good. This is a very empowering talk, but
Mm-hmm.
the motherfuckers on top, they're so methodical about this. They've thought this shit
Yeah.
out so fucking well. You know how they keep motherfuckers in check, in order?
Mm-hmm.
They've done this. I was thinking about this the other day. So in concentration camps, what they did, and I don't know, it's called crabs in a bucket. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is how our society works. Now in concentration camps, what happens, and you can search this up, is Jewish people, right, when they would try to act out or escape or do whatever, it rarely was actually the officers, the officials of the Germans that were the ones that kept them in check. It was actually other Jewish prisoners, right?
I read about this.
You're right, right. Why? Yeah, I mean, you could tell me maybe they get a raise, maybe they get some extra food. I'm not sure, but it was crabs in a bucket. So other prisoners told on the other prisoners, right? That's how it worked, and that's how they kept the game in check. So the people on top actually had to do very little. That's the exact same thing in our society today. So
Mm-hmm.
what the media has done, the guys on top, is they've narrated a story that shows that any person that does not follow ABCD, they're evil, they're wrong, they're misogynistic, they're racist, or whatever it is. So guess who are the people that are holding us down? Other fucking people,
Yep.
not the government. It's not fucking superiors on top. It's your
Mm-hmm.
family members. It's your girlfriend's family members.
Yep.
It's your teacher down the road. They're keeping you and dragging you down anytime you decide to break out of the narrative. And that's what is so fucking sad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's the saddest part. Like, it's one thing to have officials regulate things, but when you have like your own family and people just bringing you to, you're like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I've lost. So buddy, fucking hell, I have, this is actually what this is what this vlog's about here.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost so many friends and family members and people, and I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. The vlog is called, I think, why I stopped giving a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be very alone on your path for the time being until you build your family. You see why family is so important? Because family is under your domain. It's under your rule. That's the people. Those are the people you associate with. I have no fucking
Mm-hmm.
friend. Any friend that I've somewhat had, because of my political beliefs, my religious beliefs, because of me just deciding to go down my own path, it makes them very, very uncomfortable. And I've realized
Yeah.
how fucking simpish and beta-ish, like, at some point when you hold shit over fire, you realize what it truly is. And
Mm.
it's upsetting. All of my friends that I had maybe a few years ago that I thought were, cool, strong guys, a lot of them, fuck. Like, and I'm not
Yep.
saying, I'm not tooting my own horn or anything, but like, you will realize this shit when you really start to go down your path, and
Mm-hmm.
be okay with that, man. I have fully accepted that I have no friends. Even with my family, I'm gonna go visit them later today. My mom respects a lot what I'm doing, but besides my mom, like my brother, my brother's girlfriend, or my mom's boyfriend, I have to be very distant and detached with that, because I know that they don't agree with what I'm, necessarily talking about. My mom, because she's my mother and she's a woman, which is very important. That's very important. Men don't, she can submit and understand this, right? Because women are much more malleable. There's only two women in my life that I have somewhat say over. And, maybe take that for what it is: my mom and your girlfriend, AKA wife. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And really, it's your girlfriend. It's not so much your mom, but my mom she's opened up a lot lately. Besides that, buddy, I can't change anyone's mind, and I don't need to. And that's completely fine. And that's okay. I need to make that so clear. That was part 2 to the vlog. You don't need to change anyone's mind. My family can disagree. Your friends can disagree. That's okay. It's not about me being right and them being wrong, but like, at some point you need to triple the fuck down. And it's just so funny. And I guarantee, Tino, you can relate with this. A couple of years ago when this whole COVID thing was really gaining steam, and just anything in life. I remember sharing these beliefs with them, my friends and stuff like that. And you got demonized. They were like, how could you, you
Oh
fucking
yeah.
conspiracy theorist? That's wrong. David, you're so whatever. And now that things have unfolded and it is true and they can see it with their own eyes, buddy, it's
Hmm.
just, it's comedic. They won't even look at me. Right.
Hmm.
And it's funny. That's so look out for yourself and be okay having very little friends or very little people on your path immediately until you find your tribe. And here, this is very, 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 very important. Okay. Here's how life works. Okay. You start off, you can depict this throughout any movie, philosophy. You start off, you're friends with everybody. You then go into the belly of the whale. You lose all your friends, all fucking people, whatever. And you need to go through this. This is where you'll be alone. You'll probably be broke, afraid, scared, whatever. It's hard. This is initiation for men.
Hmm.
Once you go through this, right, which will happen many times, if you stick it out, which is what I'm doing, you're doing as men, you have to do. When you come back out, you will then find what you need. You'll find the resource, you'll find the safety, you'll find the family members, you'll find the tribe members, your friends.
Hmm.
It'll be good again. You'll find your people, your tribe. But that only happens, and these people only come once you make it through the belly of the whale. If you stay here, which most people are in our crabs in a bucket society, you're the herd. You're dying. I could not give a flying fuck about what you think. So many people are so
Hmm.
entitled to their opinion as far as, well, David, you really should do this. And look, this is all I gotta say, man. Look, okay, this is as men who I want you to take your advice. Has this person accomplished what you want in life? If the answer is no, I couldn't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck what you say. You're probably dead in the next 5 years. And with all due respect, I ain't losing a second of sleep. People who are doing what you want to do, take their advice. If the person is like, it's so funny too, right? Because our doctors and everything, they're all fat and lazy, and they're like, yeah, take my health advice. And it's like, why? And it's like, because I'm fucking telling you to. And they're like, oh shit.
Hmm.
But
And
that's
they're
a
out of
different
shape
topic,
too.
man. Different topic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. And everything really that you talk about is just conversations that I've had with people that I consider close in my life. And that's the thing that I want to, it's funny how this all really comes full circle because that's what we were talking about, I think, more in the beginning of the call, with having that direction, having that clarity. Like when you know what you want and you're very vocal about it and you're not afraid to speak on it, you'll find naturally the people that gravitate and resonate with what you are also
Mhm.
saying. So I made a video about a week or so ago called Be More Disagreeable. And the point of that video wasn't to say, oh yeah, like tell everybody to fuck off and be mean and wrong. That wasn't the point of it. The point I was making was, which is what David was just alluding to, is when you have that boundary, when you have things in your life that you know this is right for me, this is wrong. This is what I want to do. I don't want to do this. You
Mhm.
have these detailed and laid out plans for your life. You don't worry about what people think. You don't worry
Right.
about who your friend is. You don't worry about what girls like you. You don't worry about anything besides the path. And just
Mhm.
naturally what happens is you will just find people that believe the same things as you do, that have the same values, that have the same goals, maybe not the exact same goals, but they resonate and they understand it because they're in the same type of trajectory. So it's not like you're going out and purposely starting conflict with people.
Right. That's
You're
very
just
important.
you're building your empire, your kingdom, and you're just simply inviting people to come hang out with you, basically.
Right. Yeah, that's a great point, man. I'm not sure how much longer you wanted this to go. Like I'm chilled to keep going for a bit, but you let me know, man.
I
I'll definitely
could,
keep running.
yeah, man, I could go for hours, honestly, for another hour or so,
Yeah,
but
man.
my camera's probably gonna die soon, so we'll
Okay,
we
we'll
could probably
wrap it
wrap
up
it up soon.
pretty soon. Okay, cool,
Yeah.
man. So, wow, I'm bright. What was I saying? Yeah, guys, following your purpose actually has nothing to do with other people. Other people don't need to know, and it's all defense. It's. I want you to view it as a defense, not as an offense, right? The only time you offense is when people impede on that defense. You understand? So yeah, I don't like this is so important, guys. You don't need your family to be on board. You don't need them to agree. You don't need to convert them or change their mind, your friends. None of that. That's all offense. You don't have to do any of that shit. All
Hmm.
you got to do is know your path where you're walking and just defend that. That's it. Right. So when I
Yep.
was building up my YouTube channel for 5 fucking years, right? First 4 years, my family, bless their heart, I'm not mad. You got to see things from where they are, right? But they fucking hated it, and I understand. I wasn't making money on it, I wasn't getting views, and this was like 4 years, man. I was dead broke, working, part-time here, freelance jobs back and forth. I was not in school, I was not doing what they wanted to do, and they hated it, buddy. Hated. I was nearly essentially disowned from my family. I just lived in my room, and I left the whole day. I went to Starbucks in the library, and I would come back at 10 o'clock when they were asleep. Like that was my life for like 2 years straight, right? Not a
Mm.
pity story. I'm just letting you know, because they what was I getting at? You got to fight for your dream, man. And it's not going to be easy. All right. It was a test. My mom had a boyfriend who didn't like what I was doing either. And the second I got home, I had all of them turn on me. Any problem in their life, my fault. Any problem in the house, my fault. And I don't have to convince them, right? It wasn't an offense, but it was, I got to keep this going, man. And you got to find the ways in which you can keep it going. So maybe that means leave your house. Maybe that means leaving that abusive relationship. You got to do what you do to defend your dream, because
Mm.
crabs in a bucket will pull it down. And I just want you to not, this is very important to you. I'll finish it here. Don't get too attached to that, and don't get too callous towards that. See it for what it is. View it as a challenge. View it as an obstacle. View it as like you're the main hero in a video game. This is why I love games like Skyrim and stuff, because they all depict the hero's call to adventure. View you as like the main character, and they're just little trolls on your path. Are they going to kill you? No, they're fucking trolls. You're like, you'll be okay. You have the tools to defeat the trolls. That's very important. You have the weapons. God gives you the weapon upon birth. The first thing you do in Skyrim is you find a fucking sword or a little hatchet or something. You have it. Okay. You have enough to do what you need to do. It won't be easy, but you can. And just view it as that. Bring it back to a video game. Don't get too attached. I wasn't too attached to it, and I saw it for what it was. When my family argued, I would, a lot of times, and this is what pissed them off so much, I would laugh. They'd be like,
Mm.
this is wrong. And I would just see it for what it is. I would see their limiting beliefs, and I would see from where they're at, it's like a troll. And I wouldn't take it too serious. I'd be like, it's okay. I'll be all right. We'll make it happen. Don't worry.
Mm.
And they would get so triggered, and I'd be like, it's all good. Right. And I was very lighthearted. Be lighthearted about it. That is
Mm.
so, so important, because that makes the journey so much easier. The second you entertain Satan, you entertain these individuals, is when they get a grasp on you. Now they got you because you fell
Mm.
into the trap. You can't fall into the trap. Right. Detach. It's like a girl, right, sending you like nudes and shit. And she's like, come back. Like, I miss you. You're the one for me. Or she's sending these texts or whatever. Right. Like, and if you know that relationship's not for you, don't fall into it. Be detached. See it for what it is, and be like, hey, I appreciate you reaching out, but I have things to do right now. Have a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Cool as a cucumber. That's the way. And I know it's not easy. That is not easy, but there's temptation. Don't fall into temptation. And the way you don't fall into it is by objectivity. You see it for what it is. You stay detached the best you can. This is why you have to pray to God. Men need religion or spirituality. I cannot stress that enough. Why do I say this? Because if you've learned anything from our podcast, you know that men move vertically. And who is above you is a man. God, the universe, mentors. Men need this, and you have to pray to this. You need guidance from these quote unquote ancestors, people who have done it before you. Ask for guidance, ask for forgiveness, ask for clarity, because if you don't, you will move into the matriarchy. And that's what I don't know if you understand, that's what the matrix is.
Mm-hmm.
Matrix, matriarchy. What do you think the matrix means? You're falling into it. You have to break out of the matrix. You have to follow Neo. Neo follows, well, I haven't seen the movie in years, but he follows the white rabbit. He follows these signs. Where the fuck do you think where is this movie getting these ideas off from? He always has what he needs at the time, right? Follow this, do this, right? Morpheus calls him. Morpheus is kind of like symbolic for God in the movie. Neo, I need you to do this. Now step out onto the balcony. But remember, if you've seen the movie, he doesn't. He pushes out. I get it, bro. We all do this. This is called denial of the call to adventure. Morpheus says, step onto the balcony. The agents are coming. Walk across the cliff. And
Mm-hmm.
Neo's like, fuck, I can't do it. So then the agents get him, right? Now, thankfully, life will give you another call. It'll help you again, right? So he ends up getting saved again. The girl comes, takes the bug or whatever. But um, the call to adventure is real, and it's there. And this is depicted through any movie you can think of, because movies are all the same thing. They're stories. They're ways for men to think and believe and to move forwards. So yeah, be religious, be spiritual, follow stories, follow some sort of guidance in your life, and then pray for forgiveness and clarity, because you have a satanic mind. All of us do. We have an angel and a devil. And if you don't listen to the angel, you will by default fall into your lower nature, which is the devil. And then you'll be stuck here in this matriarchal 3D matrix. Boom, baby. I think that's good,
Mm-hmm.
man. That was fucking awesome.
I agree. I think that's a great way to close it out. And I love it. And I think, honestly, guys, what David is saying is find that guidance, find people in your life, whether that's, you could be one of us, David coaches clients, he coaches men to do the same thing. I coach men to help give you guidance, to help create that structure in your life, to really move forward with what it is that you want. We're here to help you guys. So if you want to, contact me, obviously my links are down below for an application. You can fill out for a free discovery call just to see if we'd be a good fit together and help you, gives you some clarity on what it is that you are trying to achieve. David's the same way. If you want to follow him on YouTube, David, you throw up some plugs there before we kind of close out. Where can people find you?
Yeah, for sure, guys. So I may post this on my channel too, but yeah, self-developed, it's one word, self dash developed. And you can learn everything there. I have videos. Again, I have coaching, group coaching. You guys know what's up. If you want to contact me, you'll figure it out. But yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, Tino. This was my first legitimate interview. Like, I've said no to everything else because it just didn't feel right. And I'm so happy I said yes to this. I could feel it. Like, this added so much value to you guys. And that's why I think I'll most likely feature it on my channel too, because it was awesome. So Tino, I'll probably get you to send
Yeah.
me the file after, because this had so much value. Like,
Yeah.
whatever walk of life you're in, I don't care if you're 15 or 35 years old, there was wisdom in here. And that's what mentors do. That's what lineage does. It offers legacy, wisdom. That's all we
Mhm.
can do. Here's the blueprint. I did it. Here's how you slay the dragon. Now you go slay it. I can't slay it for you, but here's how to. Good luck. Be
Mhm.
on your quest. Right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. It's right in front of there for you. It's right in front of you guys for that. And please reach out for help. There's a lot of gems that we talked about in this video, like immense value. There's definitely things you can pull from this. So please just run it back if you have to. Watch this a
Yeah.
couple times. Listen to this a few times because you might miss it after the first attempt. So please just
Mhm.
take action on the things we're talking about. Everything we've been talking about has been from experience, from the things that
Yeah.
we've observed, things that we've
Yeah.
learned. We're not just making up theory. This is actual shit that
Experience. Yeah.
we've done. Right, right. Real experience. So if you guys like the video, obviously click the like button, subscribe, hit notification bell. You know, all that fun YouTube stuff. So I'm going to close out here. I want to really say thank you. And I really appreciate David coming on the podcast or this recording. I don't even know what I'm going to name it yet, but just really thankful that he was able to do this and take some time out. I think it was a incredible conversation. So in the future, definitely look out for some more because I want to make this a regular thing on the channel. So thank you, David. Thank you, audience members. Uh, we're out of here.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Peace.
Deuces.